Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Otis and Brante, and we are coming together yet again for another video to talk about something that we pray will be beneficial for you, for your family. So if it's something that is beneficial for you and your family, be sure to share it with someone that might benefit from this, okay? Today we want to talk about the benefits of resistance. The benefits of resistance, right?
Yes.
When we talk about the benefits of resistance, we're all going to be faced with some things, and how we handle that makes a difference in where we end up, and we'll explain that in just a minute. So the first thing that I would say for this is, one, you must recognize the need to resist.
Yes. What we mean by that is that if you're dealing with something, you're struggling with someone or something, you recognize that there's a struggle.
Yeah.
You recognize that I need to, do away with this. I need to get rid of this habit or whatever it is. You first got to recognize that there is an issue. Just like when we think about that, I think about people that are going through recovery, right? They recognize that there is a problem.
Right.
If I never recognize that there's a problem, how can I come up with an escape? How can I come up with a plan of action to help me to become better?
Yeah. How can you come up with a solution to your situation?
Exactly.
And so when we think about that, certainly we're all faced with something that we need to resist, whether that be telling a story, whether that might be smoking cigarettes, something that might not be good for you, or something that might be good for your body. Whatever it is that you might be doing that is not good for you, we've got to recognize that we first have an issue that we need to resist. We first have people that we need to resist being around, because they pull stuff out of us that we don't want to come out of us, like the negative things that cause us to act out of order, and we don't want to be in that position. So there are some things that we've got to recognize it's a problem, and then we've got to resist. The Bible says resist the devil and he will flee from you. So when you get to a point where you resist the things that are wrong, then you can put yourself in a position where you don't have to deal with them. So number one, recognize the need to resist. Number two, I would say, is realize that you will be tested.
That's right.
Realize that.
When I think about that, I think about, when our kids were younger, they did the allergy testing. And so in that, they pricked you and put those things that you were allergic to into your system. And they did it in small doses at first, to allow your body a chance to build up a resistance to those things. So in our lives, we're going to be exposed to things that would cause us some problems.
Yeah.
Because being able to resist is not going to be an easy process when you're used to indulging.
Yeah.
So being exposed to those things, maybe in small doses at first, while you're trying to get over it or get through it, is going to be essential. And you recognizing, okay, I can expose myself to it, but then I also need to have a way of escape. I also need to have a plan to get out of here if it gets too heavy for me.
Absolutely. Get out of there. Realize that you will be tested. I mean, that's exactly what that is. Listen, we all have something that we face. No one is perfect, so we need to get that clear off top.
That's right.
No one is perfect. None of us are perfect. And so that means that we're going to have things that we're going to face. We're going to have challenges that we have to walk into and that we have to try to deal with, but we've also got to learn that these things are coming for a specific reason, and that's going to be point number 3 in just a minute. But you've got to know that just because you live a certain lifestyle or because you come from a certain place, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be tested with something. The Bible also clearly says that the enemy comes not but for to kill, steal, and to destroy. The enemy, the devil, always knows what will get you if you allow it to get you. Meaning he's going to throw tests at you that are specific for you. You have got to be strong enough to recognize that it's him working, and you've got to learn how to resist. What works for me may not work for my wife. What works for my wife may not work for me. But we have to be responsible for recognizing how the enemy is coming at us and then resist that thing. Run away from it. Get out of there. God always creates a way of escape for you not to have to fall prey to something that you can get away from.
That's right.
So learn to resist those things that are temptations, those things that will cause problems for you. Maybe it's being around somebody that will invoke a negative attitude attitude in you, then maybe you don't need to be around that person right now in your life. Maybe it's just time to be away from them. Maybe this is the time to find a different group of friends. Maybe this is the time to put yourself in better position so that you don't have to deal with the same thing.
Right.
So this does lead to our point number 3, which is realize you will grow from resistance. Realize
Yeah. So when they were doing the allergy testing, after a while, you won't need medications and things to help you in dealing with that, because your body has produced a natural resistance to those things.
That's right.
So when you are recognized, and then you go through those testing and those trials, eventually it's going to be easy for you to resist. That's just like somebody who is used to drinking Coca-Cola. If you stop drinking Coca, he loves ice cold Coca-Cola.
Love ice cold Coca-Cola.
When you stop drinking those Cokes, eventually it's going to become easier and easier for you to be around those Coca-Colas without feeling that strong urge to drink one.
Right.
And then when you try to drink one, it's going to be like, woo, this is sweet or this is strong, because you have not had that anymore. So your taste for that is gone. That's the same thing with the things that in your life that you may need to resist. Those group of friends that, may cause you to do things that you don't want to do, or sleeping around and you're not supposed to be sleeping around. Once you're able to resist those things and get out, in situations where you need to, then you won't fall prey to those things anymore so easily. Will it just go away all together? No, it will be a process.
Yeah.
But you know that there are things that you're going to have to do in order to build a resistance to those things.
Yeah. I equate this also to a bodybuilder or someone who works out in the gym. Maybe that's some of you, and you're going to be very familiar with this. In fact, you will probably know more about it than I do. But I do know that in order to develop muscle, you have to have a form of resistance. That's why when we lift heavy weights, that's why when we're running and getting our body up in activity, there's a form of resistance there, and your body can feel that. And when you're lifting weights, you're actually tearing muscle, but you need that resistance to develop strength. You need that resistance for your muscles to begin to grow and expand. Those tears eventually heal and become stronger muscle. And so that's how resistance works in your life. When you learn to resist the things that are against you or against the will of God or against the things that we know we should be doing, but we can't do because we have this obstacle in our path, we got to learn how to resist those things. And when we do, it begins to build muscle, it begins to build character, we become stronger, and the things that used to make us upset, because we've learned how to overcome those things, they don't make us upset anymore. The places we used to go because we were so weak and we could not resist those things, when we learn to resist them, then we realize we don't have to go those places anymore. And so we gather strength in going through resistance. That's what we want you to understand, that we need resistance in order to develop muscle, in order to develop character, in order to become a better person. You need resistance, but you've got to learn how to handle resistance, to know that there are some things I just simply have to flee from. There are some things that I have to get over. There are some things that I have to be big enough, bold enough, and wise enough to walk away from. And so this is what we mean by there are benefits in resistance, and we want you to be able to grow from this. So we appreciate you taking a few minutes to hear what we had to say about that. If this channel is giving you some great insight and what you hear is helping you, we're going to ask you just to simply subscribe, click the bell so you're notified when we put something new out. It's only to help you. It's not for us. We just do this out of love, and gratefully we're growing, and we thank you for all that you do. So have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.